Today's video we have something a little bit different but extremely exciting. I've just gotten a bunch of baby turtles. So here we have what is arguably the cutest type of baby reptile you're ever going to see. That is of course little tiny hatchling turtles. These things are absolutely minuscule, only like about a 20-cent piece. But then there is one individual who is over here hitching a ride. This guy's actually a twin, so we had two that hatched out of the same egg. A really teeny tiny guy like this, and then one of these other ones, probably that one there, is a little bit smaller than the rest. So I'm not sure what this guy, his future holds long term, but for now he's swimming around doing his thing, he's keeping up with everyone else. He's just a whole hell of a lot smaller. Getting these little hatchling turtles was quite a surprise. I didn't actually know that these animals had actually bred. We recently set up this new pond for them. We dismantled the old one and it had a little sandbox off to the side that these guys could use over winter if they wanted to. And it was really just sitting out here in the yard for a couple weeks, and then we finally got around to actually cleaning up all the mess. And my dad actually tipped out that box of sand and found a whole big clutch of eggs in there. So we set them up in the incubator, and then a few days later they started to hatch. So they literally had pretty well their whole incubation period out here in the elements, in the rain and everything like that. And luckily enough, they were actually able to pull through. Yeah, mate. That's one. Here's two. Three. Now to set up these little turtles, I'm actually going to use this Exoterra. It's about 90 long, 45 deep and 45 high, but obviously only going to be able to fit water in this area here. But being small little turtles, they can be very prone to drowning, so a little amount of water like that should actually be quite good. So I'm just filling this with some fresh rainwater, and we're not going to fill it too far, just enough to cover this little pump. So this is just a little submersible pump, a little pre-filter on it, which is quite weak, so the turtle shouldn't get sucked in it.
So it's also important to give the baby turtle something to hide in as well as to rest on. So I'm using these fake plants that'll float around, they can grip onto. I'm also going to throw in some live aquatic plants as well.
Now the setup for a hatchling turtle is very, very important. There's a few key factors that'll lead to success. So the first, so these guys are very small, not the strongest swimmers at this sort of size. So your water level should be fairly shallow. Only about 5 centimeters or so is what I'm going for at the moment. Just enough so they can easily get to the surface, take a breath, and then along with that, if they get tired, you want to cover a lot of space with some things for them to grab onto and be able to rest on. So I've got some different plants in here. Some of them are fake, some of them are real, and this stuff here is Alodia. They can actually eat that as well if they like, and Vallisneria is another great one for them. And then of course you want to have this water heated as well. So I've got a little heater there which heats it up to about 26 degrees or so. And then on top of that as well, as far as heat goes, you want somewhere for them to come out and bask and be able to access a greater amount of heat if they choose, like this little guy right now. So we have this little basking platform. We just made this one up, but you can buy some commercially available ones from pet shops and things like that. And of course on top we've got a heat light, UVB, and that's going to give them everything they need. Now the water of course needs to be filtered. We've got a little tiny submersible pump in the back there, and I've made this little DIY biofilter filled up with some pre-cycled media, some lava rock, and it's also got cow grit in there as well. Now cow grit is very important, especially for young turtles, to add alkalinity to the water, make your pH level right where it needs to be. So I'm using rainwater here, so naturally it's going to be slightly acidic, and the calcium carbonate actually also helps to add hardness to the water, so it's going to be very good for strengthening their shells and making them grow up nice and strong.
When it comes to feeding these guys, I like to get them all out and into a separate tub just so your water stays cleaner for longer, and then that way you can put a whole bunch of food in, they can go to town and eat as much as they like. Now when it comes to feeding, I'm generally feeding 3 different things. It's going to be bloodworms, turtle pellets and live wood roaches, and these little things absolutely love all of it. Being short-necked turtles, these guys are omnivores, so they're also going to eat plant matter as well, and that's why I have it floating around in the tank, and they can nibble on that whenever they like throughout the day when it's not feeding time.
Let me know what you think of these adorable little turtles in the comments below. Wish me luck in raising them up. If you want to see more Australian reptile videos, make sure you subscribe. We'll see you next time.